Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And Fred, thanks for coming in. How's everything in your world today?
Everything's perfect.
Glad to have you. Perfect?
Perfect. We'll have a different start of the day.
Is that right? It's perfect? That sounds pretty good. Oh, pretty positive. So I was reading about you a little bit last night, Mr. Varsity football player, Mr. Varsity golfer, and then I'm reading all about these tournaments that you won, Bob Hope and whatnot. You're quite a player.
Used to be. That was
It's over now?
25 years ago, maybe almost 30.
Really?
So, yeah, I still play, but I don't play in the tournaments like I used to.
You didn't get hurt or anything, did you?
No, just old, unfortunately.
Do you play still?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. I play a lot.
Where's your favorite place to play?
Pebble Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I think it's the greatest place in the world.
Where in Pebble Beach?
Well, Pebble Beach itself. 17-mile drive, Pebble Beach Golf Course, and of course Cypress Point and Spyglass. Those are the three greatest golf courses I think ever.
Do you have a home up there?
I don't, but my sister and my brother both live in Monterey and Cornell.
Who was the guy that used to own the Padres?
More.
Roger Moore? No, he was a spy. What was his name? The guy that used to own the
Mr. Morris.
Moores. John Moores.
John Moores.
Yeah.
John Moores had a home on 18.
Yeah.
Still does.
Did you ever go there?
I did.
You went to his home.
I had lunch there one time, actually during the car show.
Wow.
So you went to
the concourse up there.
the Concours d'Elegance.
Yes.
Did you buy a car and then go to John
No,
Moore's
I
house
didn't
and
buy a
have
car. I
lunch?
looked at
And then just
a lot
drive
of cars.
home.
Actually, Fred was up there too, I think.
I was driving for somebody.
Is that right? Isn't it true that you could have done that? You could have gone to Monterey, picked out any car that you wanted there. I mean, you got the cash, you got the bucks. You could have gone up. This must be such a great life. Have you ever seen this car show, Shelley?
I have not.
The
I've heard
Concours
about
d'Elegance.
it.
It's the greatest car show, I think,
in the
on
world.
Earth.
Yeah, in the world.
Right?
Yeah.
It's right there at Pebble Beach, which is one of the most glorious places on Earth. I think we all agree on that.
Here, here.
And here's John Moores with a house on the 18th hole
Wow.
at Pebble Beach. It's right in that hook there by that hideous tree that I hate. And
Been there many times.
right? I mean, that tree has got to go. But I've been lucky enough to be up there on vacation a couple times, and I'm lucky enough to be on top of some of my bills, but I would go into debt to live like right around the 4th, 5th, 6th holes out at Spyglass in Monterey.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Spectacular. 17-mile drive was just spectacular.
It really is.
If you've never been to 17 Mile Drive, it's basically a rich man's driveway. And don't you have to pay to take if you go out on 17 Mile Drive and you don't live there or you're not going to stay at Pebble Beach, I think you have to pay a fee to go out there and drive around and look at everyone's estate.
There's an entry fee at the gates.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but you have to pay.
And so they have this glorious golf course called Pebble Beach, and you've heard of that probably, but there are other golf courses out there, part of the whole Pebble Beach world. And when you ask a San Diego guy, where's your favorite place to golf? And he says Pebble Beach. He's doing all right. He's doing all right. I mean, what is a good day for you? Do you just get on a private plane, jet up to Monterey, play Pebble Beach? You don't have to wait the 8-month tee time like the rest of the schlobs in the world?
Well, during the season, it's a little more difficult, especially after a game like last week. So it's not exactly like that during
What does
the
that mean?
season.
You got to wait for an afternoon tee time? What do you mean? What do you have to wait?
Please,
Come on, what do you have to do?
Oh, my God. It's terrible when you have a loss like that on Sunday. So, this week until we get back on Sunday and get a win, I mean, it's tough.
We feel your pain.
Yeah, no excuses, but we have to turn
Indianapolis.
it around. Yeah.
You know, it was funny. I watched that game, and I was like, all right, look, I'll tell you something, Dean Spanos. I think people like you who are in professional sports for a living, I think you're all a little bit of a glutton for punishment, and I'll tell you why. You're going to lose most of the time. If you're an owner of an NFL team, the ultimate, I don't know how you can set out for the beginning of the year without going, we got to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And most guys are not going to get that.
Yep. 31 other clubs aren't going to get there.
Right.
I get it.
If you are a baseball player, your goal is to win the World Series. Now, am I a dreamer about this kind of stuff?
Well, I don't know if I would look at it exactly like that. I mean, I feel very fortunate to be in the position I'm in, and I thank my dad every day for buying this team. Our whole family does. It's been the great joy of our life for our family and our friends and everything. And so I wouldn't change one moment that I've gone through, and we've had some tough years, there's no doubt about it, but there's nothing better than winning, I can tell you that. And we had some great years too. That 06-07 run was pretty good when Bobby Ross was here back in 94. I mean, those are some great times, and that makes it all worth it. Obviously, when you lose, it really, you take it to heart here. I mean,
I don't think you know how hard we take it seriously.
It's not tougher on us.
I'll be glad to tell you. Here's what I mean by my statement there about how you're going to lose most of the time. If you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame and you look at these great baseball players, who was the last guy to bat 400? Was it Ted? Ted Williams, the last guy to bat 400?
Yes.
Okay, that means 600 or 60% of the time he was losing. I mean, as great as the guy was, maybe I'm just being too negative about it, but I mean, the ultimate goal is to win the big prize. And most of the time, you're just not going to do that. And we fans are dying. How does the owner deal with it?
It's difficult. I mean, we've been here 31 years, going on 32, and our goal is to win a Super Bowl. I mean, we've been close a couple times. We've been there once, and unfortunately, we played the 49ers in their heyday. So, but we had a pretty good team, and so it really is difficult because you can have a great team, but you still have to be lucky, and you have to be good. You have to be injury free. All of those things. So. All those the stars have to line up, otherwise you're not going to get there.
You're an athlete. You played football yourself in high school, and you played golf in college. You're a varsity guy. Do you have shake it off ability? Do you have that athlete shake it off ability? Like you go to a. I don't even want to talk too much about what happened in Kansas City. Do you have shake it off ability? Because I don't.
That one took a few days to get over. But look, when you have a loss on a Sunday, you have one day, 24 hours to get over it because you can never change what's happened on that Sunday. You got to focus on the next game. And if you let things like that bother you continually through the season, then you shouldn't be in this business. I mean, you just got to look forward.
I can't do it. I mean, do you have to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and talk about this stuff? It drives me crazy.
I've been close sometimes. I got to tell you.
I don't know how men in your position, with so much attention, so many outsiders, so many numbskulls like me. I mean, how do you even go out for dinner? How do you and your wife get to go out for dinner? Is it easy for you to go out to do? People respect your privacy?
Most people are very nice and very supportive. And so around town here, it's really great. I live in La Jolla, and I go to downtown San Diego a lot, but people come up and say, stay in there, hang in there. You got a good thing going here. They're very supportive, so that makes you feel good. But, I mean, honestly, after a loss on Sunday, it was hard. I didn't go out for a few days. I stayed home, made my wife cook.
Right.
So
you don't want to, do you?
No, you don't.
You don't want to go out.
But you can't live your life like that. You can't.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get over it and move on.
That's the whole shake it off thing. You got to move on.
Absolutely.
That is, I don't know how you guys do it, honestly. That's some sort of mental fortitude that I haven't been able to master yet. It's very different. We all have ups and downs in our own personal chosen businesses, but I think some people's ups and downs are higher and lower. I mean, let's go back to the Super Bowl for a minute here with the 49ers. We were all here at the time, and it was glorious and, just heyday, right? Heyday. And virtually no one gave you a chance. Everyone was rooting or supporting or betting on the 49ers. I mean, what was your mindset going into it at the time?
I mean, we felt pretty good, very optimistic about it. I mean, obviously the 49ers were a great team. I mean, that dynasty of that era, I mean, one of the greatest of all times. And, but still you don't go in there thinking you're going to win thinking you're going to lose and give it just your best. And we're going in there to win it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was anybody in that locker room didn't think we had a chance to win the game.
Of course you got a chance, right?
Of course.
You've always got a chance. But then we've also seen just the absolute unthinkable. And I'll tell you one that I thought was unthinkable, and I don't know how he gets over it, and that is that Super Bowl, was it 2 or 3 years ago, with Peyton Manning? And what'd they lose, 198-3 or something like that? That was sickening.
Not for me.
Do tell.
One of the joyous moments of my life. Okay?
Tell me why. What's going on with that? Just because of the Broncos?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, right.
There was a celebration after that.
Absolutely.
So you've got the Super Bowl. It's the glorious moment. You have the crowning victory of winning the AFC Championship, which is spectacular in itself. But there's one more game. There's another game to go here. And everyone's saying, well, it's going to be the 49ers, it's going to be a blah, 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 blah. And, you can use we're going to use that kind of negative as fuel to motivate ourselves. And then it actually goes the way they said it was going to go. Which one's worse? Is it the Super Bowl or is it something like the Kansas City game from 2 weeks ago? Which one's harder to get over?
Well, I guess I'd rather be at the Super Bowl and have to worry about getting over that. That would, I think I could live with that more than Kansas City, I guess. I don't know. But, get there first and you can worry about that.
Yeah.
So.
Was that the greatest moment? Your involvement with it? Was it the Super Bowl?
Obviously getting there. Yeah, obviously getting there was great. I think the one particular moment was when we beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh to win the AFC Championship and then go. Yeah. And I was on the field and watched the last play where we stopped Dennis Gibson, I think was the linebacker, knocked the pass down. And I just remember looking at Bobby Beathard, and we ran 100 yards across the field to the locker room. We were jumping up and down. When we got in the locker room, I couldn't breathe because I ran so fast with everybody. It took about 5 minutes to get your breath back, but I will never forget that. And then when we came back that night, went into the stadium, and saw, 200,000 people around the stadium and everything. It was just crazy. That was, one of the great times, and makes it all worth being part of this whole thing with the Chargers.
When that happened, there were clowns in this town who went to Home Depot and bought pieces of plywood in cans of blue and yellow spray paint and got out jigsaws and cut out little bolts to hang on their garage door.
I love it.
It was the most hideous looking.
All
It was the most hideous looking contraption, Dean. I'm telling you. But we were all swept up in that glorious moment.
Yeah. Everybody was. It was great for the city. It was great for everybody.
Absolutely.
So my thought on that, that thing of the glutton for punishment thing is there's so much hard work, big money, luck, everything that's got to go right just to get there.
There is. Like
it's such the whole trail is just a minefield.
Yeah, but that's part of the business. That's what makes it so exciting.
It's a crappy business.
Yeah.
God.
The margin of error is so small between the 32 clubs. That's what even makes it more competitive and more fun.
Right. Boy, it's tough.
Yeah.
You're in a tough business, man.
If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
I know
right?
it. Yes, I agree with that statement. Do you think your players, I don't know what they know about you, but do you think you get a little bit of respect from your players from being an athlete in high school and college?
No, I don't think any of them have a clue. To be honest with you, I don't think they read my bio at all.
When I was reading about you, and I see that you're a varsity football player. And what did you play when you were in high school football?
I was a wide receiver, and I was actually a punter, and I kicked off.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was a third string quarterback.
When you were a wide receiver, could you do the Odell Beckham, the backwards leaping one-handed catch into the end zone, scoring all the chicks, baby, dyeing the tips of your hair, doing the whole thing?
High school football, you didn't pass it a lot back then. It was run the ball.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered about that. I mean, maybe it works the other way around. Having been an athlete yourself, you have an appreciation for what these guys are going through.
Oh, my God. I don't think half the people in the world realize how hard these people work, these players work. I mean, the commitment and the dedication. And then on game day to go out there, it really is gladiators, at work. It's a tough business. And to see it firsthand and hear it firsthand down on the field is incredible. So everybody, if you have a chance or an opportunity to actually go down and see it, you should see it because it's really something.
Is there a movie that gets close to getting it right?
A movie?
A movie about football that gets close to getting it right. You think?
Movie. I have no idea about that. What I just said
about football, but what the business of football and what it's like for these guys. There's a million great football movies out there just for entertainment, like North Dallas 40. Did you ever see that with Nick Nolte and these guys? They're shooting up their knees. That was the way it was back then, I guess. But there's some great football movies.
Yeah, the only one I like is Rudy.
Rudy,
I like Rudy.
Right? That's awesome.
That's not professional football, but I like Rudy.
But it's great, right?
Yeah.
And did you see the one with Mark Wahlberg, where he's the Philadelphia guy who? He's the late rookie tryout guy. I think it's Invincible's the name of that movie.
I think so. I didn't see that, no.
Yeah. I always wonder how a guy in real life views these Hollywood takes on football.
I don't pay much attention to it. It's Hollywood.
Right.
So.
Do you watch Ballers?
No.
This is with The Rock, who is an agent now for football players.
Right.
And I watched this, and I think about you because I knew that we were going to have this chat, and I was wondering if that's really, if that's even close to how real it is.
I don't watch a lot of movies, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what happens when Drew Brees comes back on Sunday? Do you get to go up and welcome him back and say hello to him? And
I will.
Yeah.
I mean, I really have a great deal of respect for Drew. I did when he was here, and I do what he's done with his career in the last 10 years. And, the guy's a great player, probably a Hall of Famer, no doubt, won a Super Bowl. And he was always a great Charger. So I have a great deal of respect for him and his family.
Did you get to hear what he said about the uncertainty of the Chargers staying here in town? Did you hear his comments?
I did not.
Would you like to hear them?
Sure.
Here's what Drew says about the uncertainty of the team, whether or not they stay in town.
Listen, I think it would be a shame, San Diego's such a great city. The Chargers have been there for a long time, as have the Padres, and I get there's a lot of other things going on in San Diego, We used to joke around sometimes if it's a pretty day, they'd rather go to the beach and catch some waves than go to the game to watch it. But, it's I still think the team means a lot to the city, and I think just like many of these decisions are financial decisions, you want to build a new stadium, who's going to pay for it and where's it going to go, Obviously the temptation to go to LA is real, just because that's a big market and maybe you have more opportunities, more capabilities to, find a place to build a stadium or to share a stadium up there. But regardless, I think it would be a shame if the Chargers were gone from San Diego. I think they belong there.
It's a respectful opinion, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's going to come back to a nice cheer. You know how San Diegans are. They just want to see a good game. They don't necessarily always cheer for the home team. They just want to see fun.
We need to change that mentality.
Well, what do you think about that? I mean, that's... You remember when Mark McGwire would come to town when he was chasing the home run record? People were, yay!
Yeah. Every city's unique to itself. San Diego's unique, and it's a great city with great people, and that's just the way they are.
We just want to go out and we want to have a good time. We don't really pay attention to what color uniform is getting the points. Dean, come on now.
There are some diehard fans out there, I have to tell you.
Absolutely.
I mean, some diehard fans and love them.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this stadium for a second here. I know you got your friend Fred here, and we have this decision that we got to make here. Are we voting on this in November? Is it going to be on a ballot next to who's president of the United States? We're going to vote on whether or not we build a stadium. Is that the deal?
Absolutely. November 8th.
We call that C?
Measure C.
Measure C.
Vote yes on Measure C, please.
So here's the question I think every amateur interviewer wants to know. And that is, Dean, why don't you just build this thing yourself? You've got $88 billion. Just build the thing yourself.
$88 billion?
Last time we checked.
I had $88 billion. I'll give you half, okay? So.
All right, let's get the man a lottery ticket. Come on.
Here's what we found out the last time we checked. You have plenty of money to build this thing yourself and still have billions left over. Now, that's the thought. Is that the reality?
Well, look, I mean, you look at everything on a league-wide basis, a competitive basis, and all communities that have basically had stadiums built there have participated, most of them. I would say 95% of them, if not all of them. And we're not asking for the city to build or pay for 100% of this, or the taxpayers. We're asking for a very small percentage, 30%, 35%, I think. And, we're going to put up $650 million. This is more than just a stadium. And don't forget that. This is more than just a stadium. This is a stadium and a convention center. It's a combined use facility. And there's an opportunity here for both the Chargers and the city to benefit from this. The combined use facility could be used over 200 times plus a year, which could give a huge economic benefit to the city. So it could be a real win-win for the Chargers and the city. So I think it makes sense from that perspective. It's not us saying, city, we want you to build the whole thing, or taxpayers pay for the whole thing. It's a joint effort here, if you will.
Fred, what's your participation in this thing?
Well, I was asked by Dean last February if I would come on and work with him to try and accomplish an initiative downtown to build this new multi-use facility. I'd known Dean for a long time. I had played a similar role with Jerry Sanders when he was mayor, when we tried to provide a very similar concept downtown with the sports and entertainment district that was derailed when redevelopment ended. So I'd had some experience downtown.
I don't know if you've heard it yet. Maybe you could even be the one who's responsible for it. The most compelling sales pitch I've heard yet, and Chainsaw's played it a couple times, is when Dan Fouts comes on and he says, here's the idea. We're going to raise the taxes a little bit on visitors who come to town here on their hotel bill. Think about having Bronco and Raider fans coming to town to visit and build our new stadium for us. I think that, to me, is the most entertaining, funniest. That's the one I would hitch my horse to. I would push that hard with voters if I were you. Mm-hmm. Is that your baby?
We're pushing away.
I don't know.
We're pushing away.
I don't know who conceived of that, but I think that is a winner right there. That's strong. Is it real? Is it true, though, that all the money that is being asked for is going to come from that? From a tax on a hotel bill?
Yes.
That's it. No one's going to have their taxes go up in San Diego.
That's correct.
No one's going to have to pay.
That's correct.
And no money from the general fund either.
That's what I mean. Right. None of it.
Nope.
So just visiting. Or if you stay in town and so let's say, give me an example. I'm not asking you to pencil this out precisely, but say you go downtown and you get yourself a $250 room. It's $250 now, today, done. But after this passes, it's going to go up to what?
The tax itself, today it's a 12.5 cent tax. It will go up to 16.5 cents to build this new stadium. So 4 additional cents on a hotel bill per dollar.
So I don't even know how to do the math on that.
If it's $10
on $250.
If it's $100, you'll pay $16.50 tax.
So $16 extra would go up. Okay.
No, it would go up $4 extra.
$4.
Today it's 12.5. So today, if you, for example, pay $100 for a hotel room,
right,
you would pay a $12.50 tax. Mm-hmm. That will go up to $16.50.
Okay, so I don't want to throw away. I don't want to throw it away saying, oh, it doesn't matter, because I take taxes very seriously, as I think everyone should. But it's not oppressive, is it?
Not to me.
Yeah, not to anybody that
you're
stays
flying
anywhere.
to Pebble Beach and you're playing golf with Roger Moore, the spy who loved me.
That's right.
I'm going to have to take you to Pebble Beach with me, okay?
When was the last time you went to visit a city, you asked before you got there, how much is your hotel tax?
I don't.
Of course.
I absolutely do not.
Of course, because...
No, I look at the bottom line number and I decide whether I want to pay it or not.
The average tax in the top 25 markets in the country is 16 cents.
Okay.
We'll be at 16.5, but at that number, not only would we be getting a new convention center expansion, we'll be getting a stadium, and dollars ultimately will then flow to the general fund.
Let's do that one over again here. You're saying that our tax is lower than the competitive cities.
That's correct.
And if we raise it to the same price as competitive cities, we'll get a stadium out of it.
That's correct.
And a convention center.
And a convention center. That's pretty compelling. Now, how do you get that message? You got to get that into an advertisement. You got to promote this message somehow.
Well, we've been all over TV. If you haven't seen it with Jerry Sanders, we're very fortunate.
Anytime I see Jerry Sanders, I turn the TV off. That could be a
I
mistake.
see it all the
There's a love
time.
affair gone awry,
Can
guys.
you see the devil horns coming out of his head?
Well, you're the one that thinks Ted Williams is a loser because he only bet at 400.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. No, I love Jerry. I absolutely do love Jerry. And I think that's a strong message that has to get out to people. People are afraid of having their tax rates go up. Listen, here's the worst thing that people will say. Oh, it's a $2 billion stadium that we're going to use 8 times in a year, right? I mean, that's a horrible thing to hear. But that message is out there. And it's more than that. Isn't that what you're telling me?
It is, because the floor area, the space, is combined with the convention center. So when the convention center used, it can use the stadium for multiple events, not just the 8 to 10 events a year for the Chargers.
Right.
So hopefully it will be used 100, 200 times a year.
What do you think is the price tag to build a stadium as of today, September 29th, 2016? Is it $1.5 billion?
Well, Minneapolis was the most recent example, which is $1.2 billion without a convention center, which is probably the best template we have. There's others that are more and others that are less, but it's probably appropriate to the market in 2017 dollars.
Right. Atlanta's, I think, at $1.5 billion, but it has a retractable roof. So I don't know what the cost of that is.
Mm-hmm. Have you already got people lined up telling you, I am ready to be your stadium naming partner?
No. We haven't been out in the market looking.
The Dave Shelley and Chainsaw Show would like to make the initial offer of naming the stadium, the Dave Shelley and Chainsaw Stadium, and we are prepared to make you a $100 cash offer today. Today. Draw up the papers, and we will be the first ones to provide that for you.
The KFM-B can afford more than that, can't they?
You'd think so.
I'll talk to Elizabeth about that, okay?
You think
She'll
so?
really like that.
Really, we should do $100.70 just to keep it with our
Right.
frequency.
100.7.
Exactly.
There is some money, I was talking to her this weekend. I'm like, so what are you up to? And she's like, I'm swinging it over here with Dean in Indianapolis. We're having a good old time. I was like, oh, well, you high rollers, you. What
No,
a
I
good
shouldn't
life.
say this on the air, but she does have a good time. I have to tell
Are
you.
you kidding me?
She was out with all the guys.
Have you
so-
heard the stories about this girl? I know she plays the little, meek Georgette kind of thing. That girl's a party girl.
Yep.
Yeah, she has a great time.
She's
I
the
have to
original
tell you.
Penny Lane. Have no doubt about it. Yeah. Well, guys, listen, I wish you the best of luck. Like I say, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the idea. I love what happened with the baseball stadium downtown. I love the idea of a new baseball stadium. It sickens to me. I would so love to have this whole, are the Chargers staying or are they leaving, done?
All of us.
Nail the lid on that coffin and just be done with it. It's been so ugly and divisive. I just, who am I preaching this to?
No, it was an unpleasant year last year, but if I'm hoping people get out and vote for Measure C, this thing passes. So there's going to be a lot of work after that, but we're up for the task and the challenge, right, Fred?
Absolutely.
Because he's going to do a lot of the work. I guarantee you. So.
You'll be up at Pebble.
I had hair when I started.
Right.
Dean, you are reaching into your own pocket and you're paying for a lot of this out of your own pocket. Is that right?
Correct.
Do you know how much it is?
Well, a total between the NFL and the Chargers of about $650 million.
It's a lot of dough.
Yeah, 350 from the Chargers, 300 from the league.
Okay. So you're invested in this thing to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. So when people say, why don't you just do it yourself? You at the very least can say, I'm doing a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm doing most of it, but it needs to be a joint effort. And again, like it was said earlier here, we're not asking for the taxpayers to pay anything here. This is a hotel tax.
Right.
So it has no, unless you stay in a hotel, you live here in San Diego, you stay in a hotel, it's not going to impact you.
I just don't think that anybody is going to put off a trip to beautiful San Diego because of $4 extra
Right,
on a hotel room.
right.
I just
I don't
Per
think
I
so
can't
either.
see that. Yeah, per 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't see that.
I know your dad's been ill for a long time, and yet at the same time, the dude is like a tank. He's 93, and he's going on like a locomotive. How is your pop these days?
He's doing all right. He was 93 yesterday, as a matter of fact. So we had a little party for him up in Stockton. But he's doing okay. He suffers from dementia.
Right.
But he still gets around, and I know he knows who we are. He may not call us by name, but he knows I'm his son and stuff. And so he's happy. He's in no pain or anything. So, but it's sad, to see your dad. He was my hero and still is.
It's a heart. That's a devilish disease, that terrible dementia thing. But I'm glad he's a happy man. Anyway.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I wish you seriously, I wish you the best of luck. I don't envy your position. It's an uphill battle. But you have my support. I love shiny, new, exciting things, especially when I don't have to pay for them. And it sounds to me like I don't have to pay for it, right?
You don't.
I mean, if I go downtown for a weekend, it'll cost me $4 a night. That sound about right?
Per 100, yeah.
For $100, that's right.
Four per $100.
Right. Right.
Well, that's an entertainment fee I'm willing to pay. I'm down for it. I like it. I think it's a good plan. I like it. I'm grateful to you guys for coming in and giving your side of the story here.